This one isn't for YouTube anyway. I'm gonna do this one strictly for Facebook. This is Volothamp Tautology on Facebook. And this is what I would like to call a podcast. It's a video podcast because I am manipulating the game to be my video. I could, put my mug on here and do it like the other video podsters. But I'm more radio than TV anyway, so I figured I'd do it my own way. You know what I mean? Cheer me on, cheer me on. So like I was saying, I'm doing this one strictly for Facebook. There's no reason for me to really do this kind of a video podcast for YouTube. But I think I am once in a while, but I'm gonna do it a little different on this thing here because sharing other people's content can get you flagged or copyrighted, or they'll cut back on your videos, But I do respond to other YouTubers' content, so that way, we go back and forth a little bit. The last one I just did was Rob review because he was talking about hardware and generations, and that's what I've been doing too, without adding a whole bunch of like a keynote or I'm kind of losing people right now, like gearing it so that it's, hey, this is the step by step on hardware, and hardware being, a video game system, like the latest one is the Switch, the Nintendo Switch is what everybody has, and it's about to become the all-time sellingest console. It already did that in America, so it is number one in America. Sneeze. But you still got to do it around the whole world, which is the number one all around the world is still the PlayStation 2. But I guess it would be about a couple million, maybe 5 or 6 million that they still have to calculate to determine whether or not it is the all-time. So we're expecting that it's going to do that before the release of the Switch 2, which is what everybody's been anticipating. So all of the YouTube gamers have been predicting and trying to guess what the new system is and following up on leaks and things of that nature. And that's what I'm trying to get my son not to be concerned with. But this is what kids do. They want the latest and greatest system. I'm trying to help my son understand, like, nah, that's not how we did it back in the day. We waited, we had patience. We actually waited for the price to drop. So when I finally got my first NES, for example, I think I only paid $100 for it. And my friend worked at Toys R Us, so I might have got an extra pack in or something. I'll just say it that way. That's about it. Because we live in this thing is, you got a 5-finger discount and this and that, and even though it was 40 years ago and this and that is beyond that means you're a criminal, like, and that's why the world is topsy-turvy right now. It really is. It's you lied and cheated on a test in the 3rd grade, and now you're forever a criminal for doing that. That was one of the things that, like, I went to Catholic school, so we had a thing called confessions. So in 3rd grade, I got Holy Communion. I was baptized, and by the 7th grade, you're supposed to get confirmed. And by the 7th grade, I was a little rebel. I was starting to learn what hip hop was. Hip hop was around for a couple years now. By then, you're talking about 84 or so. It was 84, I guess so, and or 83 maybe. So hip hop is already like 4 years old or 5 years old, and that's commercially. when we talking about rap being a music genre. Hip hop is a culture, is our culture, and we're still having confusion in that because we don't understand the fundamental definition of culture. Culture is directly related to your land, language, and law. So we'll talk more about that as we try to, get the definition straight. But we find ourselves in a flux of redefinition. I have this picture up in the upper right hand, in the upper, I would say that's my upper left hand corner, and it has, I think his name is Jordan P. He's a psychologist. Well, one is Glenn Rowry. He's a black economist, right? And then the white gentleman is a psychologist from Canada, and I facetiously put him as number 3. I have an uncle that's a psychologist. I say he's 4, and then Dr. Phil is number 5. So those are my 3, 4, and 5 when it comes to psychologists. And no, Umar Johnson isn't 1 or 2. Umar Johnson is not in my top 5. I don't put him in my top 5. I have him as one of my peers. So he is someone that I, quote unquote, rap battle against. Right? He's my peer. He's more psychology. I grew up as a mathematician, being more philosophical. Now that I'm been studying both trains of thought, psychology being more of the mind, philosophy being more of the spirit, I determined that epistemology is more of the body. But there are people that want to debate that, well, the mind is connected to the brain and the, the philosophy is connected to the heart, right? So therein, those two physical aspects, and it's like, we're being a little dishonest, right? There is a separation between the brain and the mind. There is a separation between the heart being a thought or defined, and emotions, right? There's a difference between the two, and therein is where you get the separation of logical and illogical emotions per se, right? Or intelligent and ignorant emotionalism, and therein is where the mathematics underliningly has some kind of cognitive relationship between the two. And that's where the two gentlemen that I have on there discussing whether or not these DEI hires is what I guess they were talking about during that video. I just clipped the picture of it because they're having a discussion of what Biden did. He changed the rhetoric of hiring practices, so they went back to what Obama did, where you had a lot of human resource managers that were quote unquote psychologists, but they had mental health issues. I said it. So you have somebody that's in charge of the people when it comes to human resources, or what does that mean? The ethics of the work habits or the morality of the workers. And that person is illogically, ethical, right? They have a certain health issue that they got going on, and hence they find ways to terminate employees, regardless of it, whether it's discriminatory or not. That's what's been going on, right? Trump found a way to change that. That's why when I was the manager, I was kind of amazed, like, wait a minute, like, y'all being extra nice now, Not that we were cronies, but it do seem like as soon as Biden did his thing, it went back to cronyism, and that's what Trump called it. So, laugh a little bit, and confetti, sneeze, and we'll keep moving on, right? So what's this first clip that I got showing for y'all? Let me see here. because I might already went too long on the video. I got a lot to do. So that was 10 minutes, and we're gonna go right into the game one, which is Final Fantasy 11. Now, Final Fantasy 11 is why I started playing, or that's why when I first joined Facebook. So I just got the video showing in the background. I'm not going to really share the guy's video completely. He gets into real deep details about the game and things of that nature, and it's very complicated. The goal is to actually for us to get back to playing that game, and let's get a little scary on it. The goal is to get back into Final Fantasy 11 with Wabi. Wabi wants me to get back on there and play the game, and then watching this guy video and seeing how high level everything is. And I mean, Final Fantasy 11 is one of the great games. And what I'm reminding everybody is actually a PlayStation 2 game. So we're going to hardware that's almost 30 years old. when did that come out? You know, it's a long time ago since the PlayStation 2 came out. And I didn't play Final Fantasy 11 on PlayStation 2. I played it actually on PC. And now that's the only real way to play it is on PC. I guess you can play it on, stream is PC. And you could probably play it on Xbox 360, which is probably obsolete. I don't think you can play it on Xbox One and PS4. It was a PS3 exclusive a little bit too. So it did grow a little bit from the PS2 days. But yeah, it might have been on PS4 too. But I'm sure it didn't sell as well as, say, Grand Theft Auto 5. Grand Theft Auto 5 is a Xbox 360, PS3, PS4, Xbox One. That's why it's the second all-time greatest selling game of all time, because it's also on PC. Minecraft is the #1 greatest game sold of all time, because now you're talking about a game that's been on several systems since, I guess, the original Xbox, maybe. I don't know. I got to check to see which systems it's actually on. But Minecraft has been around has been around for a long time, probably just as long as Final Fantasy 11. Now, Final Fantasy 11 isn't the only online Final Fantasy game. There's also Final Fantasy 14, which is probably my, I show a little more favoritism to that game than Final Fantasy 11. But I'm just showing a little bit of the video in the background just to show you, hey, this is Final Fantasy 11, and the goal is to get back on it. And, I'm going to try to be enthusiastic about doing it, because it would be cool to actually play it again. But I don't know how deep I can go into it, because, the mathematics involved in the game was actually kind of, I'm sitting going like, wow, magic burst and all this skill change. And, you really have to coordinate 6 to 18 people, right? Is it 6 times 3? 18 up to 18 people to do the battle the right way against a godlike creature. Like, everybody has to be on point and be able to, y'all do this skill chain, y'all do this skill chain, you do this skill chain, and have all the magic users do magic bursts to really bring it all together, type of thing. And I was, being a mathematician, I would look forward to the challenge in doing that when playing that back in the day. But it was a lot on the early levels when we first did Echo Warrior. That was like the very, very first mission level. It was under level 20. Where we had 18 people. You can have up to 18. You could do it less than that if you had the right people that was skill chaining and magic bursting the right way. I heard you can do it with just like 6 people, but that was a challenge, instead of everybody just hacking slashing, which will be more of the concept of more than, but I was trying to be real efficient in the mathematics behind it. And Wabi and shout out to Jacket was 2 of the people that I wanted to be leaders in the alliances. At Goat, that's my man. And Jermaine and Duck, they're the ones that I started out with. They're from the hood, from Uptown, and we restarted it way back in PlayStation 2 days. So trying to get it to work that way was real tough. It was tough to for us three to come together, or four to come together, and then sit around and try to get people to join. You know what I mean? Like I used to have me, Aggo, and Jermaine per se. Duck couldn't really get on, and have them, hey, you find 5 people, I find 5 people, you find 5 people. Like Jacket might have been one of my regulars back then, and Peters, shout out to his younger brother. So they used to be a part of my quote unquote clan, and trying to do this low level Echo Warriors. So it would have been real nice to go through the years and make it up to level 99 and been one of the elite alliances and doing it, but you know, you got real life to deal with, you know. So, but it is cool to see that video that I just shared and watch the youngins. You know, I'm saying youngins to be, you know, respectful, because I know they're young, but now they're probably 30, 40 almost, and you know, they built YouTube channels and what's the other channel? What's the other one called? Twitter, and not Twitter, but I don't feel like looking at my phone for being all kind of be official and stuff, right? But I'm now intrigued because I'm supposed to know Twitch, because I'm on Twitch too, but I don't have time to really dive into Twitch. I'm on Truth, but I don't really share on there either. And I do want to get something to drink, so I'm just going to share the next one, which is more of my serious note. I heard, is that one my serious note? Yeah, I'm gonna share a little bit of what's this kid named? Lex Friedman, and he's one of the more popular YouTubers, and it's funny watching because he's not that old of a YouTuber, but he's up there in the millions of subscribers. Now, of course, he's getting some kind of funding on the background or whatever, and they're always advertising his page to me. You know, did I even subscribe to his page? Let me see. Let me see if I subscribe to him. Yeah, I did, because they always shared his page to me. That was me playing it, but he's 4 million grown, and of course that's why Donald Trump went on his show. And I'm just going to share a little bit of that, you know. So, you know what I mean? Y'all can tune out or whatever. But this was Donald Trump before he became the president. And one of the reasons why he was successful in his pursuit to be the president was because he was willing to go on the, you know, quote unquote, the lower end or the more, you know, underground. They're not underground. Podcasters, like if what's her name, Kamala was serious and she went on the Black Channel or TBA, the Black Authority, like Jill Stein did, right? She would have got a lot more black votes that come out and voted for her. But a lot of people sat at home because we knew her hypocrisy. But I'm gonna share a little bit of this just to, you know, like, just to be on Facebook to share, hey, this is what seriously goes on, because there are serious shows on YouTube that's not part of the, you know, ABC, NBC, CBS, you know, and they're serious with their politics. So, you know, I'll just share a little bit of it. There we go.
I don't know if you know this.
While that's playing, I'm going to get me some to drink because I got the froggy voice.
Yeah, they call me a lot worse than I call them.
A lot of people listening to this, myself included, that doesn't think that Kamala is a communist.
I believe you have to fight fire with fire.
Politics is a dirty game.
It is a dirty game. It's certainly true.
How do you win at that game?
They suffer from massive Trump derangement syndrome, TDS, and I don't know if it's curable from their standpoint.
I think we'd probably have a better world if everybody in Congress took some mushrooms, perhaps.
First of all, medical marijuana has been amazing. It's been I've had friends and I've had others and doctors telling me that it's been absolutely amazing.
The list of clients that went to the island has not been made public.
Yeah, it's very interesting, isn't it?
The following is a conversation with Donald Trump on this Les Friedman podcast.
They're getting smaller and smaller.
They get smaller.
Right?
I mean, people do respect you more when you have a big camera.
No, it's cool. There are 20 guys that you pay a fortune to.
All right. Okay. You said that you love winning, and you have won a lot in life, in real estate, in business, in TV, in politics. So let me start with a mindset, a psychology question. What drives you more, the love of winning or the hate of losing?
Maybe equally, maybe both. I don't like losing, and I do like winning. I've never thought of it as to which is more of a driving force.
You've been close to a lot of the greats in sport. You think about Tiger Woods, Muhammad Ali. You have people like Michael Jordan, who I think hate losing more than anybody. So, what do you learn from those guys?
Well, they do have something different. You know, the great champions have something very different, like the sports champions. And, you have champions in other fields, but you see it more readily in sports. You see it over a weekend, or you see it during a game. And you see that certain people stand out, and they keep standing out. But it's there for you. It doesn't take a lifetime to find out that somebody was a winner or a loser. And so the sports thing is very interesting, but I play golf with different people, and there's a different mindset among champions. There's really a very different mindset. There's a different thought process. Talent-wise, sometimes you can't tell the difference in talent, but at the end of a weekend, they seem to win. And it's very interesting. Like as an example, Tiger or Jack Nicklaus, he was a phenomenal winner. And he does have a different way about him. Tiger has a different way about him. And Michael Jordan. And there's never one, you would think that there'd be one way. Arnold Palmer was the nicest guy you'd ever meet. And then you have some champions that aren't really nice. They're just focused on doing their job. So you have, there's not one type of person. But the one thing I would say that everybody seems to have in common is they're very driven. They're driven like beyond.
They don't seem to give up easily.
They don't give up. They don't give up, but they do seem to be, they have a passion that's maybe more than people that don't do as well.
You said that politics is a dirty game.
Yeah, it is a dirty game. It's certainly true.
So if it is a game, how do you win at that game?
Well, you win at that game by getting the word out and by using sense. You have to have a feeling where it's going. You also have to have a feeling of what's right. You can't necessarily just go what's popular. You have to do what's good for a country if you're talking about countries. But you have to get the word out, and you have to just continuously, like for instance, you have a great show, you have a great podcast, it's very well watched, and I'm sitting here and I do this, a lot of people see it, and I do other things, and a lot of people see that, and I go traditional also. You have traditional television, which is getting a little bit older and maybe less significant, could be less significant, I don't know. But it's changing a lot. The whole plane of platform is changing a lot. It's changed a lot in the last 2-3 years. But from a political standpoint, you have to find out what people are doing, what they're watching, and you have to get on. I just see that these platforms are starting to dominate. They're getting very big numbers. I did Spaces with Elon, and they got numbers like nobody's ever heard before. So, this is, you wouldn't do that on like radio. You wouldn't do that, those numbers, no matter how good a show. You wouldn't do those numbers on radio. You wouldn't do them on television.
You've been successful in business, you've been successful in politics. What do you think is the difference between gaining success between the two different, disparate worlds?
Yeah, they're different, very different. I have a lot of people that are in business that are successful, and they like to go over to politics, and then you realize they can't speak, they joke. You know, it's hard to make a speech in front of that, and let's say you're talking about a big audience, but I get very big audiences, and you know, for many people it's virtually impossible to get up and speak for an hour and a half and have nobody leave. You know, it's not an easy thing to do, and it's an ability. But I have many people that are very, very successful in business would love to do what I did, and yet they can't pull the trigger. And in many cases, I don't think it would work almost for everybody. It's not going to work. It's a very tough thing to do. It's a big transition. And now, if you talked about people in the business and politics going into business, likewise, that wouldn't generally work out so well either. It's different talents, it's different skills. I had somebody who wants to go into politics so bad, but he's got a little problem. He's got stage fright. Now, he's a total killer, but if he gets up into a stage in front of people, he doesn't do well. To put it mildly, actually. I mean, he does badly.
So you have to be able to make hard decisions like you do in business, but also be able to captivate an audience.
Look, if you're a politician, you have to be able to speak in front of large crowds. There are a lot of people who can't do that.
You know what I mean? And that's why Chuck D calls him the game show host. You know what I'm saying? Like the game show hosts need to retire. Like, and that's why I get mad at Chuck D, because it's like, Chuck, I hear you, fam, right? And Chuck D is the president of the Hip Hop Alliance. I mean, let me play the next clip. That way I keep it flowing. It might have sound to it and everything. And oh yeah, this is me playing Defender and other games like that. So you might hear that sound and everything. But I'm just I'm just rapping from here on out now. I just wanted to share that because there's a lot of serious podcasters out there, and the fact that Donald Trump was willing to go on these people's platforms, and there's a lot of serious black podcaster, video podcasters, Tim Black and Jason Black, and I mean, they all use the last name Black. I'm sure that's not their last name, but it is their way of saying that they're B1. That means they're black first. That term has been, stolen, or some people say it, but they don't mean it. What's his name? Umar Johnson. Umar Johnson is more A1. He's Africa first. And therein is our debate. Which one is A1 or B1? Which one should be first? I'm saying G1, God first, then B1, G1, B1, A1. What's after A1? I would say, H1 would be, I put it in a nice order. I gotta check my notes and everything. H1 is another one, right? That's human, I guess, right? Human first, human race. L1, L1 then H1. L1 is love, right? So, but when you got a lot of people that's saying B1 and they either brown or beige and they feel it a certain way, like, and now doing some kind of, reverse or anti-racism or whatever it is that they want to try to change the fundamental definition by adding prefixes and suffixes, or even just straight out changing the definition. Like, and that's what Barack did. Changed the definition of African American to include himself, because that was not the original Adolph's way. Still playing the video. So now I'm just running some videos in the background and trying to recap on some of the topics that I've been talking about. And what am I really doing when I'm giving these ordered pairs, and I'm using a little bit of algebra or letters and combining them with numbers. And the only number that I'm really using is 1 right now. So, because I'm still trying, me and my son are beginning with, we just, hey, we just want to start from the door. We're going to go binary digits. So I taught him how to count using binary digits when he was still in, first grade or second grade. I might have started when he did that. 0. Well, it's a counting of putting 2 exponentially, right? I touched on this a little bit. So 2 to the 0 power is 1. 2 to the first power is 2. 2 to the second power is 4. 2 to the third power is 8. 16. 32. 64. 128. 256. 512. 1024. 2056. I used to know them real good. I'm kind of guessing and adding it at the same time in my head. Trying to, readjust my calculator in my mind. I've been so used to using calculators over the years. I got to really work on my arithmetic and my memory of, and I want him to do that because one of my teachers in college, she swore on that. Is it still playing? I think it's still playing, or it just cut off. It just cut off, right? So we'll go into the next one. Oh, the next one is South Park. I'm gonna play a little South Park in the background for y'all. Parental discretion is advised, and then I'll see how this all turns out in the end and what I need to change in volumes and everything like that. And that's me. I'm just running a sample of how I could really organize a good, kind of video show based upon my Animal Crossing background. I'm taking my pictures of myself and all this other fly stuff, and I can get the kid to help me, and we can run little videos in the upper right hand corner, or we can do it, live stream and figure it out that way, and just enjoy creating content for people to be entertained by. That's the whole goal in it. So hit the like button, subscribe, share. I'm just going to throw this one on Facebook. I'm not going to put it on YouTube because if I put it on YouTube, they might, copyright claim some of the videos that I'm running. 'Cause I'm not supposed to really just run straight video. Yeah, I got 2 movies that I'm just going to play a little bit of it, just a snippet of it, just to see how Facebook responds to it. It's like, seriously, these movies are so, old and, whatever. And I'm gonna be talking over it anyway, so, because I'm really not trying to, but it is gonna be me, because, I suggest movies to the kid. The kid is so caught up in, being free, for himself, but at the same time having to appease what other people want to watch, right? Movies and stuff. And I'm like, hey, watch what they watch, and we can talk about it. But then, my analysis of such a theatrical thing is too next level over their heads, because I do take in consideration the past.
Whoa, dude, I'm good.
The latest in this kind of discussion is, not South Park. The kid too young for South Park. Wicked, because Wicked is nothing more than, Wizard of Oz 3 or whatever, or Wiz 2.0, or, whatever they want to call it. But it is more, what is that girl, Frozen. It is Frozen meets Wizard of Oz, and it's like, come on, y'all can't, And then trying to deny the history of colorism. Because the whole movie, that was the whole basis of the Wizard of Oz, is, colorism not being a negative thing, because colorism is nothing more than a subset of favoritism. It's just that when you're dealing with favoritism as a whole, you're dealing with either the thought or the emotion. Some people, they deal with, I don't like to say positive and negative emotions, right? But it's more of intelligent or ignorant emotions, or illogical, I'd rather say, right? Or logical and illogical. But then, that's a little different than intelligence and ignorance. So we do have to be careful with bad and good, for example. That's why it's more so in when talking in binarily or that kind of concept, logically, you would rather prefer to say illogical as opposed to bad, or ignorant. Therein is where Mr. Spock from Star Trek was genius, because his character, or their race or their culture of the Vulcans is logical, is thought. Illogical is emotion, and what they do, they purge the emotion, because hence emotions were illogical. There it is. That's Star Trek, the original series, in a nutshell. When you get to Next Generation, and that's what my son wants to call the Next Generation, because he's borderline. He's in between Gen Z and Gen A. He wants to say, I'm Gen Z, Dad, I'm not Gen A. And it's like, son, be Gen A and be a leader for it. What's the next generation? And he wants to call it the Next Generation, like Star Trek. Excuse me. And that's facetious, right? But his generation is the one that's supposed to name him. Just like Chuck D named Busta Rhymes, right? That's what's supposed to happen. You're supposed to name the next generation, right? So Gen X, we named the millennials, whatever, right? But it is supposed to, or they named themselves the millennials because, most of them don't know their daddies or whatever, right? Or so it is said, or, the dads are deadbeats and been deadbeats for the past 3 generations, and they want to include Generation X in that, and it's like, nah, we there for our children, right? But therein is the conflict that these the Democrats, which is neocons and rhinos. Let's get that straight first of all too. The Democratic Party isn't just, and I like to say democracy. It isn't just, quote unquote Democrats. It is Barack, Biden, and Harris trying to collaborate to be in control of it with Hillary in the background or whatever, and Bill. But just notice Bill's voice has been dead, and so has what's his name? Whatever his name is. Oh, I got a kung fu flick for you, so I'm gonna play a little kung fu for y'all. And this is this capture is from a ninja, Shogun Ninja. So this is some classic kung fu. I'm just gonna run in the upper corner, laugh at and things like that. Because we used to do that on Saturday mornings, was watch some kung fu theater. That's why Wu-Tang became very, very popular, because it was, hey, we grew up doing that too. RZA, Jizzle, Raekwon, and they used it to their advantage. Ghostface Killer, Capadonna, ODB, rest in peace, Master Killer, You God, and I said Master Killer, and Rebel Lioness, I can't forget you either. And of course, my favorite actually is Killer Priest. So that's Wu-Tang. Got some kung fu playing in the background, and I mean, hip means to know it's a form of intelligence. To be hip means to be up to date and relevant. Hop is just a form of movement. And this video is funny because they just beating each other with sticks and all types of stuff. And I think he grabbed the other dude by the nut and right, and it's like, you can't do that. And I know that's why it's funny, right? It is. You know what I mean? But then when you see a serious story, it's like the 2 guys that was in Atlanta with the 2 boys that they adopted, and it's like, yo, see, there it is right there, right? And it's, well, that's only one. There exists only one. Hence, that's why it becomes hypocritical when they talk about, Bill Cosby going to Hugh Hefner Playboy Mansion, right? Because it was, to mess with the snow bunnies. Now, today, Umar Johnson say the same thing, and he's anti-white racism, or he's a black radical, right? Or so such that what's the name said, but he's being facetious. Fat Joe, shut up, Fat Joe. But we still mess with him and everything. But yeah, you done killed your career rapping, and your career was done anyway, so it really didn't matter. But I am gonna pick up that latest Nas album. You know what I mean? I do like Kendrick. I like Mick Jenkins. Lupe Fiasco is the GOAT, right? And like I mentioned, Killer Priest. Like, I'm still listening to real good hip hop music, right? But it's more than music; it's the culture, right? So yeah, I'll listen to some Maze, right? That's hip hop. Sade, right? Chilling, listening to Sade. Like I was doing that the other day. Chilling, listening to Sade. Had a little eggnog, watching a good movie, right? Or playing a good video game. That's hip hop. Is that all? That's all too. So one more, and I'm going to end it with the last one, right? Let me see. Let's make sure it's the last one. And this is going to be Beat Street. King of the Beats. The beginning of Beat Street. So, and I tried sharing this with my son. Like we watched the subway scene over and over again, where I'm trying to explain to him like, yeah, we shout out to Miles, right? He gonna actually see Uptown Legend. You funny dude. But he was a little older than us, so he wasn't like we would try to cut out refrigerator boxes. I might have been 14 or 13 at the time, and when it'll be my block versus your block breakdancing. So that was me being little young Turbo or whatever back when this movie first came out, And so Miles was already in high school. He might have been 15, 16 or whatever. He might have been 16 or 17 actually. And there's a couple guys that I'm friends with on here. Uptown Snuff was actually it was like a year younger than me, I think. So it was us hanging out and shout out to my cousin Hassan and Reek. And we want to connect, fellows, and we trying to do some new things in 2025. It's keep the culture. Make sure we redefine the culture. Give the culture its proper due. Is that video still on? It's still on. And how much time did I put in? 40 minutes. I did great. That's a great little show for Facebook. I might throw it up on YouTube. I don't think so, cause I want my YouTube page to be just, me and my family doing things and sharing it, video capturing life. But even if it is playing some video games online, like I like doing that. I had fun doing that, networking. And sharing it with the world. So that's more of my style and everything. I hope y'all enjoyed this little presentation. Like I said, I'm G1. That's God first. Then B1. I want to say black, brown, or beige. It doesn't matter. But B1 means, our people. That's who what hip hoppers are, right? We don't say that it's non-white because we do include the Beastie Boys, right? We do include, Eminem, right? Eminem, he's one of the GOATs. But I don't put him in the top 5, right? I already shared my top 5, and I'll share it again later. But G1, B1, A1, Africa, America. I don't like to say African American. There's no dual citizenship. I'm American, autochthon, North American, to be more exact. But I was born in the United States of America. Period. Right. So it's like you can't take my citizenship away from me, because my lineage has been here, is deeply rooted in the core of this land, going back to North and South Carolina, going back 500 years. So to have Barack and Michelle talking about we don't have generational wealth, and it's like, well, what are you like? What are you talking about? I know we don't have no, you know what I mean? But she was actually talking about immigrants. Like, no, I'm not an immigrant. I'm an autochthon. I'm native to this land. You know what I mean? Y'all gotta, you know, we can't allow them to take that away from us. That's why I spit on the ground when they like, no, y'all can't take that away from us. And that's what they try to do for whoever it is that's running the shadow governments. They have to go. Trump has to weed them out, get them out of here, right? And Elon and Vivek and they're exposing themselves by putting the immigrants first again, right? We have to put bringing them over ahead of helping. We're already here. Me and my son are already doing science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, right? We're taking apart motherboards, putting them back together. Like I said, we're already studying ones and zeros and how to string them together in binary code, right? We're already learning beginner's all-purpose symbolic instruction code, which is basic, which is logic. We're already learning these things and learning how to program and learning how to help the AI learn how to program is what we're actually doing. The more stuff we add to the knowledge, the stronger the knowledge becomes, the stronger the stronger the understanding is, which leads to true wisdom, right? I'm gonna go over this again. One God, our Father, the art of time, hip hop life, love one. God is love. Hip hop is life. Time is holy. We're seeking tranquility. Money is a fourth dimensional illusion that doesn't exist. Y'all gotta stop that, right? Cash don't rule everything around me.